You are listening to New Nation Radio. This is Monday Night Love Sessions. This is Monday Night Love Sessions. Love Sessions like you were Detroit Doctor, DJ Reed, Miss Roll, Monday Night, he's 77 in the building. What? Hello. This is your girl, Akila Trinae, and you are listening to U Nation Radio. This is Monday Night Love Sessions. This is Monday Night Love Sessions. Akila Trinae, Detroit Doctor, DJ Reed, Miss Roll, David, he's 77 in the building. What?
At all. I don't like you. Okay, sorry guys. It caught me
That's jam.
getting on camera.
Oh man.
He was making faces at my music, which was not supposed to be on again. That was like an exclusive last week drop.
So what's your artist name?
And
It's Akila
it's
Trinae.
Akila Trinae.
I know you got another stage name.
No, that's it.
Akila the Bee.
Trinae. No. Whatever, haters. Anyway, good evening. This is Monday Night Love Sessions. We're U Nation Radio at rmconair.com. We are here for another edition of what you all stop by to see us for every Monday night at 10:30 p.m. to midnight.
To listen to us talk.
Yes, about good stuff. Good stuff. If you have been following us, then you've been, in for a treat, or you've been. What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
We have no clue.
Been treated.
No, we've been
Maybe.
treated.
I never know. But
Who was that talking? Somebody behind me. Oh,
I don't know. You're in for a treat.
you're in for a treat for sure tonight.
Yes,
but
we are.
Anyway, so.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I don't know
Sorry.
either. I'm Akila Trinae. I'm
Clearly.
gonna give it to Mr. Cameron David.
who?
David. Do you have any great poupon? No. This is Cameron David, the one and only. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsors out there. Shout out to Black Lion Entertainment. They have their. Oh, I like how that beat dropped again. Good looking, Chris. Drop out. Yeah, no problem. Shout out to their. He said it wasn't even me. No, shout out to their mixtape that they're dropping September
30th. They dropped
30th.
it.
Oh yeah, they dropped it on the 30th. No, but they have an event coming up on the 17th of October in Oakland.
In
Shout out
Pomona.
to Pomona. Shout out to Pomona. But yeah, go cop that mixtape. It's Black Lion Mixtape Volume 1.
Yes.
And shout out to our other sponsors, Artistic Web. Shout out to Spider and Pitbull Energy Drink. It is good.
Whoa.
Now, want to pass it on over to my main man, DJ Ree, over there in the place to be, in the corner, hiding behind the DJ booth.
Turn me up in my headphones.
Turn me up.
Good evening, everybody.
Don't turn me down.
What happened to yo?
Yeah, so you got to do it over. You got to give it back. You got to give it back to him.
Okay, shout out to my main man, DJ Ree, over there in the corner.
Yo.
Shots fired. Nah, but wake up,
Wait a
man.
minute. DJ Reed, where you at?
I'm on the way over here in the corner.
What?
Social media.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. But you go ahead and like us on Facebook
Yeah.
at U Nation Radio, Twitter, U
in
Nation
the cut somewhere. I see you in the cut.
underscore
There you
radio, Instagram at U Nation Radio, and YouTube U Nation Radio TV.
What it is. Okay,
are. You gonna
now.
kick it to Key?
Oh yeah, we have.
Where your wife at?
Miss Roro, she is at home with the baby. He's not feeling good. So
He gets better.
yes, we have to take.
Make sure you take some nice Diamond Tap. I guess y'all didn't take Diamond Tap as a child.
No.
I did. It tastes
Robitussin.
good. Tussin. See, yeah, Robitussin is nasty.
3 6s.
Diamond Tap tastes like grape Kool-Aid.
That take it out real quick. That 3 6s. Y'all know about that 3 6s
No,
medicine?
Diamond Tap.
It's terrible. What you say?
Diamond Tap. I was on that lean early.
Ain't nobody's.
Okay,
Key,
so
you ain't gonna say nothing?
Wait.
Yeah, I know it's been a minute, but come on now.
Okay, what's up, everybody? It's
my
me, Key 77. Whatever. I'm gonna pass it on over to the D.
pause.
Maybe you can give a number.
Good evening, good evening. So welcome tonight to Monday Night Love Sessions. We're back. The number to call in tonight is 323-965-1600, and we do have a very good topic for you today on hand. Very interesting, something that we all deal with, whether you know it or not. But to delve more into it, I'm going to kick it back to the Akila Trinae to introduce our lovely speaker for the evening.
It is I. Akila Trinae. All right, so I am extremely excited about tonight because of our special guest that we have here tonight. We go way back, and it's always awesome to be able to stay connected with people, especially when they do great things and when they start giving back and they start going on with the education and all that stuff. That's beautiful. So I'm gonna let you know all about our guest. Ashley Colemen, MA, is an advanced doctoral student in the clinical psychology program at Pepperdine University. She recently completed her pre-doctoral internship at the University of California, Los Angeles Counseling and Psychological Services, that's UCLA CAPS. Ms. Colemen has conducted poster and outreach presentations related to sports psychology, adolescents of color, and religious spiritual therapeutic interventions. She has served as a consultant to several Division I collegiate sports teams. Additionally, Ms. Colemen has presented on a variety of topics, including improving healthy communication and relationships, stress management, and academic retention strategies for first-generation college students. U-Nation family, Monday Night Love Sessions family, please help me welcome to the show, Miss Ashley Colemen.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Really, really excited about being here tonight.
We're excited to have you.
Very
Yes, we
excited.
are.
Now, just a quick tidbit. I think we went to middle school together, too.
Oh, yeah.
Middle school and high school. So that, that was like
Oh, no.
just a couple years ago.
from Oakland?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
she's from Oakland. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, say something about Oakland now.
Nothing. Nothing.
I got people coming in here weekly
I
coming
see.
for you.
I see. Lord,
But yes.
you spike me.
See?
But
You have to get him later.
Yeah, you see.
We're going to have to diagnose him later.
apparently I have some type of infinity for Oakland women, But I didn't. None of you guys live in Oakland anymore, clearly. What?
Touche.
If they love it. But all of them talk about it like it's the greatest place on earth, so I don't really understand it.
They don't
You
wanna
live
go
in
back.
Detroit?
They don't want to go back.
I do not live in Detroit, but
But you don't want to go back. You don't want to go back either.
touche. So, Ms. Colemen,
Yes.
how was your weekend?
Very nice. Very nice. Got my mom in town, so, that means good food, shopping.
Is this your beautiful mother in the studio with us?
Is my beautiful
she
mom.
is so
This is
beautiful.
gonna-
That's your what?
Oh, yeah.
That's your mama?
Oh, yeah. Best years ahead of me. Thanks.
I usually, and so don't get sad. When the women come in, I usually choose which one I'm gonna hit on.
Oh.
And I had chose her.
Don't.
She's like,
she was-
nah.
Both of you guys are prettier, but
Wow.
I normally go for the young one, so she looks.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
You digging yourself a mighty ditch.
telling you. She going to have your
I'm over
diagnosis soon.
Mama, I'm over here. She said,
One of my listeners now, I don't know. He's 6'4", dark skin. He comes through the door.
It's Idris Elba about to beat you down.
You feel me? Well, he can come find me, Cameron David. I'm here.
Really?
Nah,
Y'all do kind of look alike.
It's gonna be black.
They try to get the lock.
they trying.
He said he owns.
So disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm on. And she's over here still
disrespectful.
disrespecting where her.
What'd you guys say?
It's true. It's all love in here, so it's gonna be good. But we're gonna take a quick break right quick.
Take a quick break.
A brick break.
We gonna break.
Artist spotlight today, so he's coming first. This is Your Love by Gio. DJ Reed, cue us up. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It will be gone, belong, God, it's me again. I know it's only 3 a.m. I see your demons here. It's getting hard for me to breathe again. I don't deserve the rest, cause in my chest is like I'm leaving him. So much that it don't take a holy God to see I'm grieving him. I feel defeat again. How can I say I love the Lord with all my heart, but then my walk is like I'm leaving him? So now I'm on my knees again, hear my plea again. Search out my heart, remove disease and impurities within. And this burden through all the hurt and the strife is pertinent in my life, cause now I'm seeking my need for him. A wonderful thing it is to know that you love me enough to not let me go. So you send my boat through the storm, now I'm back at your feet again. Not so I can plead that you don't hurt me, but that you and Jesus can receive me in your mercies. So G.O., I'm letting you know, if you come between me and God, then I'm letting you go.
Be gone, belong, and that I find I really care.
I'm hanging it up, them old clothes are staining me up. And everything in my past, yo, I'm flaming it up. The fire is tall, I'm reminiscing on my past struggles. Unnecessary it seems, but I know if I hadn't struggled, I wouldn't have known God, I wouldn't have known faith, I wouldn't have known guilt, I wouldn't have known grace, I wouldn't have known love. 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 I wouldn't have known the love of the Father that keeps me humble. So many times in my life it's my pride that turned to my plunder. But now I'm staying under the banner of the Almighty. Whatever is on my way, yo, my Father is right beside me. So try me and come what may, I will trust him. And though he slay me, I'm more concerned about living a life to please him than raising my own pleasure. If heaven's my only treasure, so be it. Adopted into the family, I'm never planning to leave him. My reason, he loves me more than I can love myself. And I've learned that there's no use in finding something else. I've searched and there's nothing else to keep me. His love is consistent, it never will leave me, will never deceive me. Believe me or not, it's the truth, cause my faith is only based on the truth, not the issues of life and my circumstances. I'm standing on a rock that don't move.
She will be gone, belong, and that I find I really care.
Trust in the Savior, that's my only hope. I'm on the ropes, this life is wearing me down. It's such a lonely road. My lonely soul is aching for a love that I can call my own, and searching for a place of peace that I can call my home. I have friends and family, but yo, I'm on my own. And when I'm face to face with death, guess who I'm calling on? Christ, because I know his love is constant. In life and in death, his love is constant. In the midst of all this mess, his love is constant. My life circumstances, his love is constant. Whatever my plans is, his love is constant. Whatever I fail with, his love is constant. I know that I am his. I know that I am his. And that's it. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's been a long journey, but we made it.
Go.
That's my boy Gio. That's my artist spotlight for tonight. To get more information on him, go to beatsrhymesandloves.com. That's from his latest album, Give It Up. And he has a new album coming out in a couple weeks, Beats, Rhyme, and Love. And matter of fact, this Saturday night, I'll be going to his release party. And I'll be doing an interview with him, and that'll be up on our YouTube page. So again, that's Gio with Your Love, the G Mix. And that's from his latest album, Give It Up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So kind of jumping into, did you say what our topic was?
I did.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it either.
So say it again.
You say it.
We're talking about mental health today, and how it plays a part in our lives as well as in relationships. And we have Dr. Ashley Colemen in here to help us, because we all suffer from something. I know these two suffer from
We
something.
know you do.
Who, what are you talking about? Who two?
You two.
Him inside of him.
Yeah, the two niggas.
I'm probably the worst one, but I see, you cool. You too cool. You too cool.
He's too cool?
He too cool for school. But, well, I was the worst one until he walked in, so we know he the worst one.
No, you know what? I know I'm crazy, but the fact that I know that I'm crazy and I choose to act sane, I think it, is better for everybody else in the world.
But don't that make you crazy?
No, it doesn't make me crazy. It makes me very powerful in the mind. Therefore, if I know that, I'm crazy, I can calm that down. So some people are crazy out here and they don't know. They just go nut crazy and they just snapping on people. That's how you have
that
Yeah,
bipolar
but at least they
too.
honest
the
though.
bipolar, No, they're not being honest with themselves.
But I'm saying, at least I can deal with an outwardly crazy person, but if you crazy and I don't know it, then now
No,
I'm scared.
I know it.
Time out, because before you guys get too deep on a crazy rant, because y'all was going in.
We was not
He
going
was going in.
The one is smart.
I want to first, Ashley, talk to you a little bit about
We can still hear you.
what you right?
Right. We was just having a conversation.
Okay, I want to talk to you, Ashley, about your studies and kind of where you are in the process and what inspired you to kind of go into that field and just school us a little bit.
Okay. So right now I'm an advanced doctoral student at Pepperdine in their PsyD program, and advanced meaning I've done all my classes and I need to hurry up and defend my dissertation so I can be Dr. Coleman. Did 4 years at Howard, class of 06. Shout out to Howard. Homecoming is coming up.
Yeah.
The real HU. And then I got my master's in 09 from Pepperdine in their clinical psychology program. Definitely, I think maybe it started probably like around age 11. Always listened to people, and I was a good child. Mom can vouch for that. Except I always,
yeah.
Mom cosign. I always got in trouble for staying on the phone way too late, and it didn't matter if I was helping someone with homework or listening to just problems or giving advice. I always was on the phone late to the point where you gotta like kind of hide the phone under the blanket and just kind of pretend, and then just say,
start whispering.
okay, if I hang up, don't call back. Like one of those. My mom didn't believe me. My parents never believed me that I was like up late doing that until I was like helping a family member. So I was just started to kind of do research, saw a few psychologists that used to be on Throwback Ricky Lake show. And yeah.
Channel 13.
Shout out to Dr. Michelle Callahan for being a black female psychologist who inspired me, and looked into it, and I never looked back.
So what is your, I guess, the area that you have the most passion when it comes to psychology?
I would say, it is a tie probably between like working with student athletes. So I definitely work with a lot of teams and doing consulting and working with student athletes one-on-one. And in addition to that, working with Black and brown students underrepresented who are facing a number of mental health challenges in addition to trying to matriculate through college. So.
Question. Why athletes? Why the emphasis on athletes? Or
they're a unique population at risk, and now in the news we're hearing about different challenges that affect them. In addition to like relationally, but being so performance based and feeling like self-worth is mostly centralized around, do people like me? Do people think I'm worth what they say I'm worth? But I come from an athletic background and family, and definitely just think there are a lot of college student athletes, unfortunately, that are only being developed athletically and not academically or being well-rounded.
Basketball players.
Thanks.
I hear that.
Football players.
No, most football players are educated.
Or aren't they both?
Okay.
Well, basketball players tend to only go.
Yeah.
They go to school shorter.
You said what?
Football players have to go to school
Just
longer.
do what you have to do as a woman. Come on.
Thank you. Try.
I'm sorry.
We'll finish. We'll let you finish. We'll let you guys finish.
The sister girl moment over here.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We gotta,
Vibing.
encourage each other every now and then. She encouraging me by just sitting next to her.
As she should.
Feeling that.
Praise
Awesome.
God.
We feeling.
Yeah.
Awesome. What was it I wanted to say? Okay, so then kind of jumping into it, since we're talking about mental illness and mental health, would you be able to kind of like provide for us like what that means, like what the definition or, when we talk about, because, as we were just recently kind of throwing it around loosely, like, oh, you crazy or I'm crazy or, but there's an actual, way to kind of determine that versus you just got real upset real quick and, were emotional and went off versus, okay, I really do have a problem,
Okay. So just to provide a context, usually when we talk about mental illness, we're looking at a cluster of symptoms that are repetitive over time that actually cause like disruption in someone's daily life over time. So we all can have a bad day. Maybe we're feeling angry or maybe we're feeling sad or in the blues, but we're talking about a number of symptoms such as like irritability plus sleep disruption plus difficulty making decisions, plus loss of interest in pleasurable activities over a period of time. That repeats. And then, I see some side eyes. I won't call anybody else. Serious side eyes.
Oh, he was the homie.
Yeah, so it causes disruption either in like job performance, relationships, ability to achieve dreams, or just have like I guess, meet expected progress in one's life.
Wow.
That's kind of what we're looking at.
It made me think of a friend.
That's good that we're going to be talking about that. Yeah, absolutely.
But she admits it, and she's going to therapy for it as well.
Okay.
So she discusses. She talks about it a lot. She says she has bipolar, and she's all those symptoms that you just said, and plus some. So make me think of a friend.
Yeah.
I'm glad that she brought that up. Because within the African American community, the topic of therapy and a therapist is kind of taboo, like, other subjects. But,
in our culture.
But I just wanted, how often do you come across that, or what types of obstacles do you face in dealing with young African American males who may not be as receptive to you? Especially being a woman on one, but then being a therapist as well, getting into their vulnerable space and all of that. Can you expand on that?
Absolutely. It's definitely a challenge, but I would say that's an area of my most fulfilling work. Oftentimes I actually seek out opportunities to go speak to young African American girls and guys, whether that's on a college setting, to let them see, first of all, let's demystify any myths about therapy. Because we know mental health professionals, the history is very controversial. So there is a healthy mistrust. That's the way I like to put it. It's a healthy mistrust to walk into someone's office and to share your business, because we're all taught, keep that business at home. So the first thing I like to do when I walk in the room is establish safety. First, let's talk. I need to tell you what I need to tell you about me so that you just want to continue the conversation. And then I start off by really informing them about the limits of confidentiality, because therapy is confidential with a few exceptions. And I find that once they see that they're looking at a real person who wants to get to know them, hear their story, not rush to put a label on them, but really want to hear them and see them, that we're able to kind of set a foundation to do work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Well, I was also reading something, because you mentioned specifically for African Americans and how we don't necessarily seek out that help in that area, because the other side of it is the kind of religious side. So can you speak to maybe, because I know you study religion too, as far as when you talk about mental health, and how do you make that, or what's the connection there, and at what point do you take the spiritual side of it and then versus the, okay, we're going to prescribe some medication side, or you get what I'm saying?
Right. So one of the things that I definitely like to say first is I provide culturally competent treatment, which means I meet my client wherever they are. So for some of my clients, they cope with whatever they cope with by praying. Okay, so let's talk about introducing prayer and allowing you to pray in the therapy room, whether with me or by yourself, or actually encouraging you to go and pray, to talk to clergy. So kind of looking at the person holistically. But also, I just want to say that currently a lot of my research has been related to how to use religious and spiritual coping with clients. And I've seen that in a variety of ways, actually working with certain faith-based counselors in addition to them seeing me. But what I do find is that once the client realizes, like, wow, okay, I can incorporate my faith. It's not necessarily the struggle between faith and science, that they're more open to kind of marrying the two.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And as far as, like, I guess the common mental disorders or things like that, like, I was kind of doing some research and kind of writing down some. You can tell me if, you know, this is authentic or not.
Okay.
The alcohol, substance abuse, anxiety, adult attention deficit disorder, and hyperactivity, bipolar disorder, depression, eating disorders, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, schizophrenia, and social anxiety phobia.
Yes. Very prevalent. Very prevalent. I would say out of those, I would say depression is the most prevalent across the U.S., the number one mental illness related to adults on disability, which can cost, it says, cost our country like over $300 million yearly. Another, and within the African American community, I see a lot of clients with depression, bipolar disorder, which is like bipolar depression. We talk about unipolar depression. But what's really not talked about is PTSD. We have a lot of community violence, so we hear PTSD and think about, okay, post-traumatic stress disorder in veterans. And while that's relevant, we also need to talk about complex trauma and how just witnessing community violence, how that impacts just our well-being. So that's big.
Can you break down the difference briefly of bipolar and unipolar depression?
Yes. So for unipolar depression, it's typically someone experiences like at least a minimum 2 weeks of either sad or irritable moods for most days, you know, all day, most days. In addition to that, 5 other symptoms, so such as like either an increase in appetite or lack of appetite, increased sleep or lack of sleep, early awakening, mental confusion, mental dullness, loss of pleasurable interest in pleasurable activities. That could be from someone who used to read daily, someone who used to watch sports, to someone who used to like surf, and all of a sudden they don't want to do that. This individual could also lose interest in their friendship. So they're no longer answering the phone, replying to text, they're no longer posting on social media, and you know, that's like a change from who they are. Also an increase in pessimistic thoughts, and also can be an increase in experiencing suicidal ideation. So to have 5 of those symptoms consistently for a 2-week period is like depression, and that looks different depending on the person. But with bipolar disorder, in addition to experiencing depression, what we call like depressive episodes at times, a person can experience what we call either manic or hypomanic episodes. So that can be either anywhere from 3 to 7 days of a cluster of symptoms where they have like an increased sense of grandiosity of themselves, increased sense of energy, decreased need for sleep, and impulsivity across certain areas. In spending, substance abuse, sexual activity, that after the week is very destructive, and if it's severe, can actually lead to incarceration, DUIs. This is someone who can clean out their account in a matter of a week. So yeah, that's kind of like the difference, and they cycle, bipolar cycles.
And so that, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So this happens.
Yeah, so just like depressive episodes, if you have one like for a 2-week period of time, there's a 50% chance that you can have a second depressive episode. And if you have a second depressive episode, there's a 70% chance that you can have a third depressive episode. So depression can repeat depending on situational factors. With bipolar disorder, it's a different type of disorder that has genetic predisposition as well as typically a genetic component, where that person, when they have the manic episodes, typically repeats and needs a higher level of care often. So that's kind of the...
So if someone's not going to get these things checked out, it could become a permanent state that they stay in, and then leads to, death or some form of injury, harmful injury. So
Absolutely.
We need to get checked.
Yes.
I think.
Well, but what would be the, you know what I'm saying, like
The telltale
because
sign.
anybody could just say, okay. You like when people read horoscopes, like, oh, that's me. That is so me.
Right.
But
Right.
like, what are the,
But
I know you mentioned those things, but like the telltale signs really that, you should really kind of get checked. And I feel like, and I could be wrong, that maybe sometimes those people who really, really do need to get checked are probably not in the state of mind that this is actually a problem for me. You get what I mean? Versus, you seem like you're more on the side of, I'm all about trying to go get, therapy, or so somebody can talk to me, or I was even having a conversation with my sister, like I wouldn't mind sitting down with a therapist or someone to like talk to me about the different things that are going on in my life and like maybe find different areas, but I wouldn't also say that I have a problem. I don't have a mental disorder. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So we like to say also that therapy is a place where you can go to talk about things that are going well and how to maintain those. So I tell clients all the time, okay, not everyone goes to the gym to lose weight. Some people go to the gym because they just value physical health. They may go to the gym to maintain. They may go to the gym to gain weight, depending on their sport or whatever. So it's, you just don't only go to the gym. Gym isn't, for people that are unhealthy.
Right.
Oftentimes what I see with clients are actually outside of maybe people that may present with substance abuse issues, that people are afraid to walk into the office because they're afraid that they may find out that something is wrong with them, and they're afraid of receiving a label, of being judged by a complete stranger. But I would say if you've noticed significant changes in your behavior, your thoughts, and if you've received feedback from others, that why not? It's 50 minutes. Why not just make a call, go sit in front of someone, and just see. But
And what typically is the cost?
Right.
It's a sliding scale.
I want to know where it starts and where it slides to. That's what I want
It
to know.
is a sliding scale. Right.
That
Because we
invoice gonna kill you.
know, we know health
Well,
isn't really free.
I'm sorry. I would like
Go
to
ahead.
interject.
Please.
Okay, so I recently just started my journey on finding therapy,
Nice.
and so I can give my research of cost, and it has been pretty much from what I've seen, it can range anywhere between about 70 to 125 a session, depending upon what area, who you're going to, how seasoned they are.
And a session
their
is 50
specialty,
minutes.
Sessions.
yes,
Okay.
50. Most on average are mostly about 50 minutes, and it's weekly. I would like to choose bi-weekly, but they like the consistent basis.
We want your money.
Exactly. But yeah, man, it is a sliding scale. Like the place that I go to, I'm not gonna say the name, but I think mine's came out to like 45 or 55 a month. So, and that was based off my income. So when they say that it's a sliding scale, more than likely it will be, and they base it upon your income and stuff. So yeah, it's cool. It's not, and I look at it as not them taking my money. It's a sacrifice for me to want to get better, or to find out some things about myself that I don't know. So if people are more open to do that, I think when people get more comfortable and more open with doing that, then I think things will be a lot different.
I like the way you put that, because I definitely see it as an investment in yourself, and sometimes we feel more comfortable investing in ourselves in certain areas and in certain
It's
ways.
self-care. It's like, you
Absolutely.
spend $20 to go get a haircut every week.
Right.
You can spend $60 a month.
Which for some people could be like therapy too.
Exactly. I mean, not $60 a month, but I mean there is, the additions. But I mean, if you can spend that much on your haircut or going,
we're all frivolous somewhere, so you can put the money
going
toward
to
it.
turn up at the club,
Right.
that costs monthly per week.
Absolutely.
And if you see some things that's going on, you might want to flip that and turn it somewhere else.
Well, while we got Miss Colemen here, we are going to try to find out some definitive things about us and get rid of the gray. But right now, we got Jonathan McReynolds with No Gray. DJ Reed, Q, what's up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote this song, and I pray that you listen to all the words, because I feel like at some point in everybody's life, you feel like this. Lord, I'm split in two. Part of me loves the world, and the other loves you. So what do? I wanna be saved, but I gotta stay cool too. And no, I'm not a fool. I know eventually I'm gonna have to choose. And really, I don't wanna lose my ticket into heaven and a chance to be used by you. And if it's God that I'm after, I just can't serve two masters. And before something happens, I gotta turn it all around, because I know I can't just have my cake and eat it too. Cause it's real easy to stay on the fence and still do you. And it'd be cool if we could love the Lord and still go do our thing. But see, it doesn't work like that. You gotta be white or black. See, I've realized when it comes to sin, you just don't compromise. See, it's a matter of death and life. Be weak and do wrong, or be strong and do right. And I don't wanna keep going to church, singing all about how much you're worth, and then continue doing my dirt, living as if I didn't care if you're hurt. Cause if it's God that I'm after, I just can't serve two masters. And before something happens, I gotta turn it all around, because I know I can't just have my cake and eat it too. Cause it's real easy to stay on the fence and still do you. And it'd be cool if we could love the Lord and still go do our thing. But see, it doesn't work like that. You gotta be white or black. Lord, I really need you to help me get it together. Saints, we really gotta get it together. And if it's God that I'm after, I just can't serve two masters. Before something happens, I gotta turn it all around, because I know I can't just have my cake and eat it too. Yeah, cause it's real easy to stay on the fence and still do you. And it'd be cool if we could love the Lord and still go do our thing. But see, it don't work like that. You gotta be white or black. No, it don't work like that. You gotta be white or black. Yeah, no gray, no shades of gray. No, 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 no. It don't work like that. No gray, no, no.
We're coming.
That was Jonathan McReynolds, No Gray. Shout out to that song. I really appreciate that artist. I've been kind of following him for a few years. He has a couple other tracks out, so be on the lookout for him. I think he's in rotation on the radio now, from what I've heard. But that song is a pretty powerful song, one of my favorites by him. But yeah, so Ms. Coleman.
Well, I wanted to provide the number again for you all if you are tuning in. So we're talking about mental illness and mental health, and we have Miss Ashley Coleman, who is here with us. The number to call in is 323-965-1600. Again, 323-965-1600. We do want you to call in, take advantage of this opportunity to maybe get some questions answered free of charge, because she is here with us to share her wealth of knowledge and information that she has. And what we kind of want to move kind of more into with this segment of our show is how to support a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, auntie, whatever, who has a mental illness, and ways to help kind of get through that process. So we know that I'm sure that all of us know someone who, whether it's us personally, suffer from a mental illness, and we don't want to just dismiss it as, oh, okay, it doesn't matter, you're just tripping right now, or you're just on one, or whatever. But just kind of what are some of the ways, without knowing anything, unless anyone has like a specific situation scenario to kind of share. But you can just go over those ways first. No, well, I mean, you can just go over those ways first.
She goes for that one. She go, well, you got to go over the ways first, Ashley, and then we can discuss what we have.
Okay, we can do. Gotta clue them in on some stuff we were talking about. But I have a few tips, probably about like 5 solid ones that I want to share. I would say the number one thing is to educate yourself about the illness. And so I think, again, we talked about earlier, there are a lot of myths and a lot of false information about what mental illness is, what it looks like. So if you can talk to your partner and have your partner actually educate you, or if your partner is newly diagnosed with mental illness, kind of discover that together. So learning about the symptoms, the length of episodes, the chronicity, if applicable, but also talking a little bit about like what are the unique warning signs. So again, as we said earlier, like depression can look different for people. So as you learn a little bit more about yourself and how depression manifests, or any mental illness does for you, learning a little bit more about your warning signs and triggers. So is it loss? Like, for instance, people that can go experience grief and loss, they can have difficult times around the holidays, or around what we call the anniversary date of losing that person. So kind of being more aware, like, okay, sharing with your partner, this is around the time that I lost my grandparent, and so this may be a tough time for me. I actually may start to kind of withdraw. So do you withdraw when you're getting ready to have some symptoms of mental illness? Are you a little more irritable? So kind of learning a little bit more about
And just really quick on that point.
Yes.
When someone is dealing with grief, because I know that that's a sensitive area, but is there like a timeline in which someone deals heavily with grief, or like not like a cutoff time, but where they're okay with it, or can they really just carry that, for the rest of their life?
Absolutely. Definitely could be carried with them. There is no timeline for processing grief, and a lot of times if grief isn't talked about, it comes up later. Especially in our society, where it's like, okay, you've had the funeral, you've had the ceremony, now back to regular life, and we're humans. We,
right. I was dating someone who he had lost his father, and some of his behaviors to me were sometimes, questionable, where I didn't understand, like some of the things that you were sharing, the behaviors, change in mood, wanting to withdraw and be left alone, or diving into like work and not really trying to deal with the world and the things that are really going on.
Right.
And then, you know, all of a sudden it would be times where, you know, he would just break down and then, you know, start talking about the fact that, you know, he had lost his father and all this stuff. And I didn't really know how to take it, you know, because it really caught me off guard, because it didn't seem like it was something that bothered him at any other time.
Right.
You know, it seemed to like sometimes come out of nowhere, and I found myself feeling like he was using that as an excuse or like a scapegoat type of situation. But again, not really being all the way aware with the situation. I don't know if that was quite fair, you know, considering the fact that I've never experienced, you know, losing a mother or father, but so I don't know the ways that you deal with it, but it's just a way that it came out. It just seemed like, you know, that it was okay. I'm gonna play the death card. I don't want to say it like that, but that's just kind of how it seems sometimes.
No, I think that's really big of you to admit that, because I've seen, I would say, a lot of like loved ones of clients who are having a hard time trying to parse out, like, okay, is this mental illness, or is this just manipulative behavior, or is this just this person's attitude and what to do? So I think the education piece really tries to really clarify things. And then also too, Number two, the big one is have an honest conversation with yourself. And why is that? Because supporting someone with mental illness is challenging. And if it is a partner, can you handle it? Is this a long-term relationship or a short-term relationship? Everyone has deal breakers about what they, want in a relationship and a partner. And it's a challenge, as relationships can be, but really can require a different level of patience, optimism, and hope. And so I think in being able to just look at, just examine yourself and to say, okay, this is a choice point where I have this information, and now what can I do? Because when we're supporting someone, we have to be okay. So again, self-care, as you were saying earlier, definitely is important. So if you're supporting a loved one that has mental illness, it's important for you to have your own outlets and to be able to set boundaries as well.
How would someone that loses someone know when it's time for them to go to therapy, or know okay, this is it, I need to go speak to someone because I'm not getting this off my heart, and I'm not dealing with it too good? How would they know if they're in denial? What is the biggest step that will push them there?
I would say commonality in working with individuals that have kind of dealt with grief but think as though it's impacting them and being able to move on, or two things. One is survivor's guilt. So sometimes when we lose people, people can experience what we call survivor's guilt, which is kind of like this sense of guilt for being able to still be alive, still move on with their lives, and feeling as if almost they're betraying the person in a sense. Also, isolation, I would say, is a big one, and changes, and being able to say, okay, I'm not myself anymore. So this could be after months, I'm not doing the things I used to do, because we hope for a return in some sense. It's like a new normalcy. When you lose someone, there has to be a new normal. But over time, if you're not able to return to those activities that you enjoy, just knowing okay, maybe there's something there. So it's always changes in behaviors, thoughts, lack of optimism about the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does one tell the difference between a disorder and a preference?
Oh, good question. Can you say more?
So you mentioned seclusion, and then we also know that a lot of I would assume that a lot of disorders are internalized. So if one's thought process comes across as a preference, how does he know how does the person know that it's a disorder? Case in point, or we talked, or it's A disorder being not being able to cope with the take part in the I can't get it out. Take part in the regular world. So let's say right. So let's say a person has a preference to smoke to cope.
Okay.
Right? But they're really smoking to cope from a disorder, but they aren't aware of it. But they feel that their preference to cope with the real world is smoking.
Okay. I would say probably the difference between preference and disorder is kind of like one thing is control. So is this person able to control, like are they smoking even when they don't want to? Are they isolating even when they don't want to? Are they repeatedly doing this over time? Or is this just, okay, I like to be alone, so I'm going to be alone? Or is this, wow, I've shut the doors, I've turned off the lights, I've turned off my phone. I really do want to talk to someone, but I can't right now. There's like a difference between controlling it.
Some people just like to smoke.
No, right. So,
hello.
So are all extremists, do they all have disorders? So if one's preference was extreme, because they say do all things in moderation.
They do.
So if you have an extremist either way, good or bad, and their preference is to go extreme in either way, to really, really smoke or to really, really drink.
I wouldn't label that a disorder unless it's significantly impacting their daily life and the things that they value, and yet and still the behavior is continuing.
So it has to compromise.
Right. So we see, not to go back to sports, but we see a lot of NFL players who, okay, wow, you have a $60 million contract. Is it really worth it to hit this weed? Wow, you've been playing football for okay, you're 27, you've been playing football for how long? Maybe 15 years from Pop Warner on up, and you still want to hit this weed and you know what's that cost. Is this person really smoking when that value trumps everything and you have a significant disruption in relationships, job, daily life? You have to ask yourself, is this a disorder? Is this an addiction? Or is this just a preference? Because I'm pretty sure that NFL player does not prefer to be at home on the couch watching football.
But if it's a habit, and then, not everybody can go, abrupt.
Is a habit a disorder?
A habit can be, depending on what that habit is. Like we have, for instance, trichotillomania. Have you ever heard of that? Anybody?
I have.
Ain't no trick.
Which is... He's like, no, ain't heard of it.
I've heard of it. I don't know. I've heard of it. Just the word, though.
It's
right. What is it?
Just the word.
So it's actually compulsive hair picking. Okay. That can be a habit. But can you imagine someone that has trichotillomania? They may have a habit of hair pulling, but where they do it.
What kind of hair?
You know what's funny?
This could be pulling eyelashes.
Oh, so they're pulling it.
I actually knew some. This is years ago, when I was in Oakland, and he pulled out his eyelashes. He pulled them out. He didn't have any eyelashes because he would literally just pull them out. It was like a habit.
Yeah, it's a disorder.
Right.
Yeah.
Sick. So, is there any other of these? I like to know.
There's
why you're here.
So trichotillomania is hair pulling. There's something called pica, where that can be like kind of eating floor chips or eating things that are not
Oh.
Yeah, so there are a wide range of behaviors that are
OCD.
Yep, exactly.
You said what?
I was saying OCD. I was talking about OCD. It's just...
I don't understand what you're saying.
OCD.
Oh. Jesus. Under the label of anxiety.
But what hit Mr. Cameron David, I think he was trying to get at a habit. Can marijuana be such a... I want to know.
I don't know if I was going there.
Well, I would like to know.
Since you went there for me.
And you might as well talk about alcohol.
Right.
Alcohol totally different.
Alcohol, marijuana. Even it's out of what we call the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, which we use to diagnose, but actually caffeine
Yep.
being
much
there. So a
camping
lot of
and-
us
yeah.
therapists had to really look at ourselves that, like coffee, like chai. Like, okay, do I have a dependency or do I just like chai? But yeah, a lot of substance abuse disorders. And in working with college students, I have to tell you, it's really hard to get them to buy into that it's a disorder. They're like, well, everyone's popping Molly at the frat parties. What are you talking about?
Wow.
So it's really hard because disorders can be against culture and against norms depending on the culture.
But wouldn't that make it a trend? Like
Or a fad.
like a trend?
Could, unless, so thinking, what do you think would change it from a trend to?
It would have to be longevity.
So, and the frequency of it, and then always what's at stake. So
Right,
there's some
but-
people that could pop mollies, and I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
There's some people that pop mollies and they don't see any disruption
True.
in their lifestyle.
And there's some people that can smoke weed and don't see any disruption.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know at what at what
Smokers not
Just saying.
out of the smokers.
right. So at what point? So we're talking about relationships.
Yes.
So at what point, in a relationship, for someone who may smoke weed, I mean, I don't even want to point at you, but you brought up weed, so I'm pointing to the weed bringer upper.
Right.
Or someone who drinks alcohol, or someone who smokes cigars, or eats wood chips or floor chips or whatever you say it. But at what point when you're in that relationship with a person, do they have to consider maybe the other person in the relationship? If you understand what I'm saying. So just to make it more clear, let's say two people are in a relationship.
Right.
And you find out through the relationship that the person that you're with has some sort of habit or addiction or preference to smoke weed or take drugs.
Yeah.
I was trying to
Look
think.
at
I was trying to think.
Or look at booties.
Or look at booties.
Right.
Or a foot fetish. You know what?
Porn.
Or porn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or foot fetish. Whatever. But here's my point.
This is getting out of control.
Wait a
No,
minute.
no, it's
because
not.
this is just like an attack.
Wait.
I feel like it's an attack on men.
Wait.
I do.
I said.
And
Or
I
to
feel
look at booties like women
She
don't look
said-
like women don't watch
Okay.
football
right.
to see men in tights.
No, I was not.
You got quiet.
My point is not pointing at gender. It's more of when two people are in a relationship, you find out about your partner and whatever habits, preference, addictions they may have.
Right.
So at what point in that relationship, for the person who has the habit, the preference, or the addiction, do they have to consider the other person that they're with to know or understand the value?
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That is at stake. You get what I mean? Because
Right.
you may have a preference, and the preference is cool, but the person that you're with may feel like at some point that it's now excessive and it's
Kinda
a
crossed the
disruption
line.
to the relationship.
Right.
But then that can be also friction for the person, like, well, no, this is me. So they can go ahead and be them in that situation. So is that, okay, no, we should just dissolve this relationship? Or is there some consideration that can be taken on both sides in order to continue with that relationship?
I'm
Yeah,
curious.
no.
No, I'm curious to know.
That's a great question. It really varies on the individual, but what I do see are a lot of people, I don't endorse this, but I have had a lot of people walk into my office and say, if I don't get help, I'm going to lose the relationship. And I'm like, oh, why? Well, what has your partner said? Well, they say that, I spend too much money on alcohol. Because oftentimes it's the partner that's like, okay, have you noticed you've bought quite a few bottles this week? And it's like, no, have I really? It's like, well, check the account. And you see the account like, oh, okay, wow. Or when you drink, you get aggressive. You become mean. Or, you're spending a lot of time watching porn and our sex life is suffering. So I hear a lot, oftentimes, depending on how serious the relationship is, each individual has a blind spot. Oftentimes it's that loved one who actually starts commenting on the behavior that kind of may get the person thinking. But some people don't see it as an issue, and I've seen also relationships end because one person's like, okay, whether this is a habit, a trend, or disorder, if you don't want to get help for yourself, where are we gonna go?
At that point, especially if not married, isn't that a subjective situation? like on whether it's I mean, granted, there are some cases out there where clearly it would be detrimental to everybody sees it that your habit is detrimental to you. But there could be some people who just aren't fan of things that, you know, if you date somebody who don't smoke, you feel me? And if he's smoking, he's like, well, he did it twice a day. Well, you should only do it once a day. You feel me? You know, versus, oh, well, you know what? I'm leaving because I'm projecting over time that this is, you know, whatever. And they could be fully functional and nothing be the case. So to me, that seems a bit subjective, and I was wondering in case if that was the case. But the other question I had was, it seems like also in this example that going against social norms brings anybody into question about having a disorder. And that kind of concerns me, seeing how the world now is so different and so many people are trying to find themselves in the difference, and anything different is coined or deemed wrong.
Right.
You know,
I agree. I think that's one of the biggest criticisms about psychology, is the sense that it has its own cultural norms that oftentimes were based upon Caucasians. And so different, communities can definitely feel like overdiagnosed. Like we know historically African Americans were overly diagnosed with schizophrenia and mental retardation. And so we know that when you do go against those cultural norms, absolutely, it's like you're different, you're disordered. That label can definitely be overly used. So absolutely, that is a huge critique that I use, that makes me exercise even more caution as a clinician, and also as an African American woman, when I'm sharing feedback with someone about the labels and what I'm saying and the judgments, because there's a lot of power to define.
right.
But let me give you another example of something we haven't talked about. Okay, so we know that in relationships these days, people check phones all day long, share passwords. There's a lot of overly sharing. And somebody's...
I don't check passwords. But you shouldn't be hiding it.
Right. But we know that, there's more of this happening in apps on phones where you can locate where a person is in GPS. I can't tell you how many times I've had to gently talk to clients about this being abusive behavior. Like, when does it become stalking, and the definition of stalking? And not knowing that a lot of these behaviors is like, well, I got to keep tabs on Bae. Yeah, well, you're stalking Bae. Do you know that? And so this is an example of where culture is kind of moving, where some of the behaviors we're condoning and reinforcing are actually disordered.
What is this disorder called? Women?
Oh, you tried it.
Shots fired.
Because
we felt attacked earlier.
I'm just saying, because there are a lot of males, and we're not going to make it gender specific, but there are a lot of males who like to be controlling in that way.
Yes.
You're with me and that's it.
Right.
I don't want you talking to anyone else. I don't care if they're friends. I don't care if they're whatever.
That's some cold piece, bro.
This is us. I'm here. It's all you know what I mean? Right. So it definitely does go both ways, but the fact that understanding that what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're acting could be abusive behavior, because what she's talking about is the simple fact of, if I'm not taking what you say to me, and I hate to go back to like reality TV, but I was watching some time ago, like not Housewives of Atlanta, I'm sorry, Love and Hip Hop reunion. What's the girl's name who was dating
Jocelyn?
Young Jock?
Carly Red.
Carly Red. She was explaining a situation where she was asking Young Jock, like, let me see your phone, or who's in your phone, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, I don't want to give you my phone. And she like wrestled him down for the phone, like got on top of him and was like trying to like really just tear the phone out of his hand, just so she can see if, he was maybe texting or whatever, had women's numbers, in the phone. And I was like, that's crazy. And she was like, no, because I'll do anything for my man, or I'll do anything to make sure. And I was thinking like, no, that's like extreme. What are you doing?
Right.
Is that a condition?
Yeah.
That's the abusive part.
That's the abusive part. Anytime you jump over someone's boundaries, anybody's personally set boundaries. Absolutely.
So as I was reading, it just seemed like there doesn't seem to be a normal person in this world. Like, it's hard to...
You're not normal, Akila Trinae.
I am normal.
Like it just seems like if you do anything, like if you're ever not happy, it seems like you fall under this case of disorder. Now I do have a weird personal question for you.
Okay. For real?
It's not too deep. As an engineer that makes music, when I listen to the radio, I can't listen to the radio anymore because I hear past the song. So all I hear is what makes the song. Mm-hmm. So it might take me 2 weeks to actually get to the words of the song because every time I hear it, So as a person in your position, mm-hmm. how does that affect you when you meet people that are interested in you, or just like, do you dissect everybody that you come across?
I turn it off. I happily turn it off. I don't like to tell people what I do because oftentimes
they want to talk.
Something's going to come up. In the weirdest places where I'm captive, like an airplane, it's like, oh, no. But no, I turn it off.
Yeah, because you met some new friend at the bar today.
Jesus
they was doing all the talking.
Yeah, I almost didn't make it right.
Yeah.
So I had to
talk to ear off.
Moonwalk in here. Yeah. Yeah, but I did.
So with you turning that off, how does that affect your relationships? Because I'm sure, I would assume that even though you try to turn it off, as much as you try to turn it off, as much as someone opens up to you,
right,
in the back of your head, like, this nigga is crazy. Like,
red flag.
Exit stage left as soon as he paid his
I'm not
bill.
gonna lie and say that it hasn't served me well.
Okay.
But I have great friends and they'll call me out. Like if I get I have a Ashley voice that's just like Ashley, and then I have a therapist voice. So if I even remotely try to turn on the therapist voice, they're like, okay, Dr. Phil, they let me know. But no, like to be able to do what I do, I have to be well-rounded. Mm-hmm. So there's sometimes like even my friends will tell me, I'll be like, I can't listen to someone today. Like I just need silence. So I'm able to, but yeah, do I ignore those red flags that I see, like abusive behavior? Like, I just, I won't tell them you're crazy, but I'll just be like, mental note. Okay.
Don't call him
Do
again.
not call.
Hey, showing up at the house unannounced, like, oh no, okay.
Oh, change of address.
Right.
Now this is more probably like a separate, I guess, kind of topic question.
Okay.
But when dealing with people who take, medication, I know I talk to one of my friends, my really good friends, a lot, and we talk about mental health and the lack of resources just for everyone, and even in the African American community, you talk about violence and people who go out and just kill people, and then that's it, and we talk about like putting people in jail and all of that. But when it comes to the actual medication people taking, maybe for sicknesses, does that have any like adverse effects on like mental health? Because there are some people, I know you talked about depression, and so I can take, maybe I got sick and I hurt like broke a leg or something like that, and then they give you the medication for that, and then you get to a point where you enjoy how that makes you feel, and then you kind of continue to take those medications. I know that there's that form, but I also have another friend who she takes medication, and just dealing with the relationship, I guess the person that she was with didn't necessarily understand what was going on, like if she took her medication or if she didn't take her medication, or kind of how that affected her holistically. And like I was saying, like even with people who have sickness, and they take certain medications, how that can then also maybe affect your mental health, or
Absolutely. Like there are a lot of side effects. There can be of medications, and actually sometimes people can be prescribed one medication and the first time it doesn't work, and they have to change medication, so that can impact changes in mood, in weight. There can be significant weight fluctuations depending on what type of medication it is, and even for, I would say, I hear a lot of negative feedback sometimes about certain antidepressant medications. One, because they have bad interactions with alcohol, and so oftentimes it's recommended that the person doesn't drink, so it's maybe a lifestyle change. Actually, libido can be like significantly decreased, so, you know, for men and women. So that's like a big thing. And discussing medication is really sensitive, I would say, especially like in a partnership. But you can also use your partner to help you be accountable to make sure you do take your medication. So it depends. But it is, again, supporting someone who's taking medication or at least is willing to try. It is delicate. Absolutely, because some of the medications actually, like for instance, for individuals with bipolar, oftentimes there may not be actually like medication adherence or compliance, and that a person can look very differently or act differently when they're on their medication or not.
Well, I just know as a teacher, you know, dealing with students, like we have, and we're not trained on mental health or how to deal with different students who come into our room who have mental health issues. You know, they'll just let us know, okay, XYZ student has X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Make sure you are able to accommodate them. Well, we don't necessarily have the resources or the tools, you know, and then as an educator, sometimes it seems as though, okay, now why are you diagnosed with this? Because I feel like it then could lead back to like a cultural thing, like this is just the environment, or this is the way that you're used to behaving because this is kind of what your home environment is like, but you don't necessarily really have an issue or a problem because your learning is fine. You understand this, you know, you can do X, you know. So it's just interesting because we do have, you know, or I do have students who have some emotional disorders, and those I can see. And when I first had to deal with it, it caught me all the way off guard because I didn't know what to do.
Right.
Well, what am I supposed to do with this student?
Right.
You know, who's now having an episode. And I can tell you something very simple that happened. I changed my hair. So I think I had braids and then maybe I took them out or I cut my hair or something happened. And when I walked in the room, she kind of had a panic attack because she didn't know who I was.
Oh, wow.
And that really just threw me off because I was like, okay, it's me. It's okay. You know, like, but it was just different. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I really have to shout out teachers, especially my favorite teacher, Mom, who was, you know, in Oakland Public School District 35 years. You guys are on the front lines.
Whoop.
So oftentimes you guys do see change, especially in like children or adolescents. And I have to consult with teachers like a lot, especially like in doing ADHD evaluations. Like how are they in the classroom versus how are they at home? Because if there's not that consistency in behavior, then that leads me to say, okay, I need to investigate a little bit more about what's going on at home. It could just be a child responding to family stress.
Right.
So yeah, no, absolutely. I wish there was more training or more advocacy and like interdialogue between like teachers and therapists, because you guys are with like your students and definitely see a lot of different presentations.
And they have a lot that they're, you know, dealing with, going through, and they want to take that nice little stool that's in front of my desk and sit down.
Right.
It's like, here we go, got to do therapy again, you know.
Right. And they're cutting school counselors, so it's not the same resources.
They're very, 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 very limited resources, and a lot of students are turning to drugs.
Yeah.
More often than I feel like in the past. So like when it comes to like drugs and alcohol, that's one of the things that like really you know, touches me, or I have an issue with it because you know, like young people are feeling like this is the outlet, this is the way to go, when they're really just wanting attention and love and care, but they're being ignored at home, you know. So I feel like, in my opinion, I just feel like some of the mental disorders or mental issues can be quelled by loving on your children and spending time with them and nurturing them and cultivating them and not leaving them to technology and internet and TV and all that stuff, because one of the things I was mentioned recently, it looks like we're getting a phone call, but one of the things that was mentioned recently was like when a person is put in seclusion, when they're by themselves, at that point, that's when their mind, you know, really starts going, and then, you know, they start going through all these different things because, you know, to me, idle minds, the devil's workshop. So
Right.
that's when, the mind, who made the song, I think my mind's playing tricks on me.
The
Ghetto Boys.
Yeah. That type of situation.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, do we have a caller? Oh, caller. Well, you just pointed. You didn't even say anything.
Give us your name and tell us where you're calling from.
This is Nicholas. I'm calling from the Antidote Valley.
Hi, bro.
Oh, you gave the full name,
Right.
Nicholas. You're Nicholas tonight.
Yeah. Hello. I had a question for the doctor.
Okay. Hey, Nicholas.
Hello. I wanted to ask you, what is a good way to recommend somebody to go to therapy, like without offending them? Because I have a couple people that I know that could really benefit from some therapy, but if I bring it up, they get really offended and it just turns into something bad. So I was wondering what would be the best way to go about getting them to go.
Really good question and very delicate, so I could definitely understand the hesitancy and not wanting to offend anyone. The way I just would encourage you to do is really to comment on the changes you've seen. For instance, like, hey, I noticed you don't like to really spend time with your friends as much as you used to. You're not, going to hoop with the boys the way you used to, and you just seem really different. And, I just want to know, like, I've noticed that, and I'm just kind of concerned about you. You ever thought about talking to someone about it? So kind of putting it out there and not just rushing to say, like, you need to go talk to someone, but just kind of like, or you need therapy, but just really giving them, first touching on, okay, I've noticed these changes in you, because oftentimes when people are going through things, they really try very hard to hide it. Yeah. So just hearing like, wow, you've noticed that I've changed, you can hear the care. You want to really communicate the care for that person as to why you think maybe talking to someone could help.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. And also I wanted to ask you about, like, with prescription drugs and Western medicine, like, do you believe that can really help a person, or are you more like for other forms of therapy, like meditation or exercise, like things like that?
I definitely think an integrated treatment is best. So I don't just rush to support medication because there are risks in everything. But it's kind of like, what are the, do the risks outweigh the benefits, or do the benefits outweigh the risks? And so what I do recommend is for someone, if over time, if, exercising and doing the other things that they like to do to cope, that could be art, that could be, music. If those things aren't working, just going for an evaluation to see if medication could help. But it's not my immediate go-to unless it's a mental illness that research says absolutely medication should be incorporated, like schizophrenia or sometimes bipolar disorder. So it depends on the situation.
Okay, yeah, that's great, because what I've noticed is, like, people that usually, I knew them before they took medication, and then after they took medication, they have like 10 new problems. So it was supposed to be helping, but it added problems because of all the side effects and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
it can be tricky. I just tell people, if you're on medication, if it's not working, just speak up. Sometimes people notice that the medication isn't working, but they don't want to say anything. And, I tell all my clients, like, you're very much responsible for your treatment as well. You know yourself. And so hopefully, just being able to use your voice to find what works for you is best.
Right. Okay, cool. So some people, if they have a chemical imbalance, then maybe they do need medication, huh? But others might not, huh? But once they have it in their system, it's like, it's really hard to get off of it, huh?
It can be, it's kind of like medication's tricky. For instance, we all have different allergies. Someone may take Tylenol or Excedrin. Someone may not be able to take that. So it's, like you're saying, like chemical imbalances or just body chemistry is really tricky, which is why also people shouldn't share, prescriptions. But this is why, like, really just spending time talking to a doctor, a psychiatrist that you trust, that can be patient and also find something that works specifically for you is what I would recommend.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your time. So just say, I noticed a difference in you, and And you ever thought about getting that checked out? I mean, yeah, you can't say getting it checked out because it's like I try to use euphemisms like therapy because if you say you need to go see a shrink, it's like I'm not crazy.
Right.
You know?
However, you know what, Nicholas, however it comes out natural for you, but just to let you know, research shows that usually takes multiple times of kind of encouraging someone to go to therapy for them to actually go, so don't give up after one time.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Go with them.
All right.
Yeah. Can do
I
that
need it too. Yeah. All right. Much love, family.
All right.
Thanks.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Moment of silence.
What do you feel in your gut?
Rolling with the homies.
We're going to take a quick break real quick. This is Music Soul Child. Yes, DJ Ree. Q, what's up?
Half crazy.
Yeah. Let me get this out the way so there ain't no complications later on for us. No, look, I know things don't stay the same. People grow and seasons change, but when it comes to love, don't you feel like you ever gotta worry about my feelings changing for you over time? Cause when I say I'm here, girl, I mean it. So when the world and the odds are against us, you won't have to question. The answer is yes. When 2 or 3 years from now you start having some doubts about if this love will last, the answer is yes. I'll still think you're beautiful, cause I'm more attracted to what's inside of you. You don't have to guess. The answer is yes. Cause I love you. All I care about is your happiness. So the answer is yes. People just don't stick around, build you up and let you down, but I'm not one of those. Now I understand that you've been burned. Honesty is what you deserve. Yeah, and so that's what I'm giving you, girl. So when the world and the odds are against us, you won't have to question. The answer is yes. When 2 or 3 years from now you start having some doubts about if this love will last, the answer is yes. I'll still think you're beautiful, cause I'm more attracted to what's inside of you. You don't have to guess. The answer is yes.
Oh, now he's Mr. Sing Song.
Man, I didn't sing for these people.
Can I give a shout out?
Who you gonna give a shout out to?
It's Power 106, right? Who's next in the mix? DJ No Saj. You guys, y'all gotta vote for DJ. Why y'all not excited?
Listening to you. Give a shout out. He was waiting for you to get us finished.
You better do it. Vote for him on Who's Next, power106.com. Vote for DJ No Saj. He's the best.
Yes, I voted.
Will do.
I think like twice. So the way that it works is you have to vote once every hour, or you can vote once every hour. So for those of you who may not know, DJ No Saj is one of our in-house DJs that comes in and stops by all the time. So we support him and we hope that he wins that competition.
DJ Jason.
But we are reaching the end of the hour, so we want to give you Miss Ashley Colemen an opportunity to share maybe some of the work that you've done. Final thoughts, where people can possibly get in contact with you, and anything else you may want to say. You know?
Okay. Well, first, I'll just say thank you again for having me. Definitely enjoyed this experience. Want to give you guys some resources and tell you a little bit about some things that I have on my plate. So first, I want to give a shout out to NAMI, which is the National Alliance for Mental Illness. They have a website, NAMI.org, and they actually are for individuals with mental illnesses and their loved ones. So you can learn information, go to support groups. There are over 1,000 local NAMI offices across the country. So again, that's NAMI.org. And just in Southern California alone, there are 10. So definitely want to get that out. Also, speaking of research, I just had a chapter published in Dr. Tama Bryant Davis's book, which is titled Religion and Spirituality for Diverse Women.
All right.
So definitely excited about that.
Oh, I just saw that online. I was trying to find some information on you, Big Covert, and that book popped up.
All right, nice. So
Nice.
chapter 4, definitely co-authored that with my dissertation chair, Dr. Shelley Harrell from Pepperdine, and a fellow student, Tiana Adams.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
doing that, and yeah, looking forward to, after dissertation, looking forward to hopefully finding a Division I collegiate program and, continuing to work with student athletes.
Nice.
I heard that. See, that's encouragement.
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 And contact information is Ashley Coleman, ASHLEY, Coleman, COLEMAN, 2013 at Gmail.
What does the E stand for?
Elizabeth.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Oh,
Awesome. No? Okay.
Also, no.
I was
I
writing
had
her
to.
information down.
Oh, okay. I had to
No
check.
poem
You know
today?
how? Right.
no poem
You
tonight.
like to write
One
poems
fish,
sometimes.
2 fish, red fish, blue fish. Go get you some therapy.
On the
And
new
that's it.
fish. On a new fish. That's what
Where the cricket?
On the new fish.
you were saying fish.
Well, we want to thank you, Ashley. I personally would like to thank you for coming out. I know you do live a little far, so just being able to come and be a part of the show. I learned a lot this evening. Some things to really think about, and you put some things in perspective as well. So I appreciate that because I like to learn. So. You are welcome to come back and join us. Again, I don't know if any of my co-hosts
I would like to say thank you.
You're welcome.
You've been a pleasure. You and your mama.
Shout out to my mama. Thank you.
But yeah, thank you. You have shined some light, and we appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Me too. I would like to say thank you because we had our little sidebar,
moment.
and you kind of helped me out. So thank you.
You're welcome. We're going to continue that after.
That's right. On a sliding scale.
Right.
for a small fee.
Yeah, because the sister got bills.
Right.
Well, of course, thank you. I am one that has a condition. I take medicine. So meeting you was a win, and in your information, you've brought us close. People out there, go get diagnosed.
That was
Jesus Christ.
That's us for Monday Night Love Sessions from Akila Trine, Cameron David, Key 77, DJ Ree, and Miss Ashley Coleman. We are out of here. DJ Ree, cue us up. Shout out to Chris. Yeah.